Welcome to Hot Flash Chronicles, where midlife is messy, menopause is madness, and we're sweating through it together.
We're Angie and Shelly, two caffeine-fueled, slightly inappropriate grandmas who say what everyone's thinking.
So grab a drink, crank up the AC, and let's dive in.
Shelly, guess what?
What, Angie?
It is time for another podcast. I'm so excited.
That is a surprise.
It's not a surprise because it's Monday.
Oh, okay. Then it's not a surprise at all.
It's not a surprise. This is totally predictable because we do it every week.
We do.
What are we talking about today, Shell?
We are going to talk about burnout.
And if you feel our energy dipped during this episode, it's because
maybe we're suffering from it.
We're suffering from burnout, which is why we wanted to talk about it.
Work. And also I think it's because it's so common, and a lot of times we're in it and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
And we're like, why am I so tired? Why am I so
well? And there's temporary burnout and like long-term burnout, stuff like that. I had a really physically taxing weekend for photography. So I feel physically completely spent. Like my bucket is like not even a drop left in it.
Yeah.
Mentally, I feel good, but I'm just exhausted to where I'm rallying to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm literally just sitting here talking. So
it's like I'm taking every ounce
I think
of
there's different versions of, I guess, burnout and exhaustion are different.
Yeah.
But so what does burnout mean to you?
Okay. So when I was thinking about this, I was like, it's one of those phrases that gets thrown around so much and people use it so much. I was like, what does this really mean? What is burnout? So you know what I did? I did what everybody does nowadays. I did Chat GPT.
You did?
And I have it right here. And I'm going to tell you what it says it is.
Oh, let's go.
Here we go. Straight from Chat GPT that knows everything.
Obviously.
Burnout is a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress, most often from work, but it can also come from caregiving, school, or other ongoing responsibilities. It usually develops gradually, and it's more than just, in quotes here, being tired. It's a deeper sense of depletion where you feel drained, less effective, and disconnected from the meaning or purpose behind what you're doing.
Interesting.
And so the World Health Organization describes burnout as having three main dimensions. So that's what we'll talk about.
Okay.
Number one is exhaustion. Feeling completely drained, lacking energy, and unable to recover easily. Number two is cynicism and detachment. Developing a negative or distant attitude towards your work, colleagues, or responsibilities. And the third is reduced efficacy. Feeling less capable, productive, or confident in your abilities.
Interesting.
So burnout is what happens when your stress fuel tank has been running on empty for too long without refilling.
Interesting. And how do we think we can refill the tank if we're sitting it? Well, maybe I was putting the cart before the horse. So how do we get to burnout? I think that burnout can go from personally, from doing a lot with little reward that isn't financial. So, I'm always going to get the financial reward of doing what I do. But if I have a dry spell in, my love language is words of affirmation. So if I have a dry spell in Atta Girls, or feeling like I'm accomplishing new things, or trying new things, if I have tried a bunch of new things and none of them are working and I'm not getting any sort of gold star, if you will, which I hate to admit, it sucks to say, like, I feel like I need other people to validate me, but I do. And that's good to know about yourself. So I think that the times that I hit burnout is when I'm not getting the pats on the head saying, good job.
Yeah, I think for me, burnout is a much more kind of quiet, under the radar activity for me. Mine has happened over probably decades of doing the job that I do. Mine is definitely coming from my workplace, the kind of job that I do, which is working with other people. And I do vocational rehab, which is where you're counseling other people who are going through hard times in their lives. And it is a stressful job because you're following rules, you're following laws, you're serving many people in the claim, and those people aren't always on the same page. So my field has a very high level of burnout in it, and it's typically happens at about the 8-year mark. And I'm like 22 years in. So I feel like mine has been going on for a long time. And these things, this exhaustion, cynicism, reduced empathy, those are all things I've been experiencing for probably a few years. But because you have life and you have obligations and you have responsibilities and bills and stuff, you just keep plugging away.
Right. You go through the motions. But how much of it do you think for you is because like maybe you weren't able to help as many people as you wanted to, or like there's not as much of a success rate? Because I know that I don't get like where I get cynical about my clients or my photo shoots. Like I'm always thrilled to do a photo shoot every single time. Yesterday was a wedding, and that was incredibly physically hard, and my body is screaming at me today. But I'm glad I did it because I loved the time. I loved the couple. I don't do a lot of weddings anymore. I loved every second of it emotionally and mentally. Like I really, really vibed with the couple a ton. But it was like my body is old and handicapped and disabled, and I could hardly get out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
So physically, I was like, nope. But I didn't feel unfulfilled or cynical about it. It was just like, holy shit, this is why I can only do a couple a year anymore.
I think my job in particular, and some people probably have jobs that they do. If you work for a state agency or a city agency or government agency of any sort, there's always just an agency. If you have a job where you have to follow rules and laws and there's bureaucracy, those are different. Those are a different kind of job. They don't come from the same emotional place that a creative job does, like where you're maybe like a photographer, or where you commission a work with someone, or maybe you are a real estate agent and you're helping somebody through that part of their life. In the kind of job that I have in particular, you are a lot of times dealing directly with attorneys, and you are dealing directly with laws and rules, and you're not always dealing directly with the person. Like if they're represented by an attorney, you don't get to work with them directly, you work with their attorney. So that makes it different than the relationships you get to have with the people who you do get to work with directly.
Right.
So there's different levels of, I guess, what you would say satisfaction in what you get to do. Sometimes I really do get to help people change their life and get back into work by retraining them or putting them on a new path. Sometimes I fight for years with rules and laws and making sure everybody in the process is being entitled to do what they're doing. So it has moments and times where it is very fulfilling. And then it has moments and times where it's very frustrating because maybe people really don't want to participate, or maybe they're really not on board with doing this thing, or maybe they don't really want to do this. So it has different levels of satisfaction. It really creates burnout because you're not always set up for success in the role that I have or in the role that other people have in this too. So I think jobs like that pose a lot of possibility for burnout, where really early on I figured out, oh, this job makes decent money. I'm going to be able to get this monetary reward. But like you said, there has been a point for a long time where it hasn't been about personal satisfaction or feeling necessarily good about, oh, I get to help people. It's more like, did I follow all the rules? Did I follow all the laws? Have I covered my butt? Have I covered everybody else's butt that needs to be covered? And
that red tape. And I think that one of the biggest differences in our careers is you have to wait for other people to do their things before you can fully do your thing.
Yeah, a lot of times you're waiting.
I'm like a one-woman show here that I'm the one doing the next step and the next step and the next step. So I'm
Yeah.
not like, if shit falls behind, it's on me. I can't blame it on somebody else. I can't be like, well, Jane dropped the ball and blah, blah, blah. Like if something doesn't happen, it is all on Angie. And there's a lot of responsibility with that.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of freedom. Like I joke that I'm not employable anymore. Like if I went to go find a job, oof. Like if you want to tell me I have to be somewhere,
Yeah. I'd be like, what?
I'm not employable. I do well as a business owner.
Yeah.
In that.
There's a reason why some people excel at doing their own profession, doing their own business. And I think that what happens though is burnout for me, whether it came from work or whether it comes from just life in general, maybe there's just a certain amount of burnout you have being a woman in menopause and just having to endure a bunch of new stuff that you didn't sign up for. And all of a sudden you have to deal with it. I think you can absolutely get burnout going through menopause. Like, did you sign up for memory loss? No. Did you sign up for joint pain? No. Hot flashes? Nope. None of that was on the list of things I wanted to do. I didn't order this. I didn't agree to it. I did not give consent.
I sent it back to the kitchen. I didn't order this.
And so I think even just the sheer having to deal with this fact, you're in a body that doesn't feel like your own. You're having emotions that don't seem to match who you are as a person. I think there's a level that you could absolutely get burnout just having to be forced to go through menopause.
Totally.
It's not something you wanted to do, and here you are. So I believe mine is really a combination of work, life, just my personal life, and menopause have all just kind of merged. And do I have some of these things that Chat GPT mentions? Exhaustion, cynicism, and feeling less capable and productive.
Yeah.
And confident
reduced
myself.
efficacy is like effectiveness.
Yeah.
Like you're not being as effective.
Doubting.
You're phoning it in.
Yeah.
You're doing just enough. And again, I don't feel like I ever feel that way during a photo shoot, but the admin stuff of it, like the sending the invoice and doing the email follow-ups and making sure that they filled out the questionnaire and making sure that the prep guide went out and then ordering the products and, the editing, the photo shoot itself, I still come alive behind the camera. And I really thought that was going to be the majority of my job when I signed up to be a photographer. That's like 5% of my job is actually taking pictures. There's so much other stuff.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, I will, if I'm feeling exhausted or, like I'm crossing my own boundaries as far as burnout, I will drop balls.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then I have to put myself in check, because that's the downside of working for yourself, is nobody's going to say, hey, Angie, you didn't do that thing. And now the client's calling. It's like, I just have to figure that shit out. So I have noticed that if I have which hasn't happened in a long, long time, if I have like multiple sessions in a row where like something went wrong, first of all, it's always on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always because of something I did or did not do. But it made me want to put down my camera because I wasn't getting the like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Oh my God, I love this, blah, blah, blah. If you start to get that negative feedback, for me, it's like, oh, I shouldn't do this. But luckily I pushed through. And realizing that anytime something happens with a customer or a client that doesn't work, like if somebody's upset, it's because you didn't educate or connect or deliver those three things. You didn't educate them on what to expect. You didn't connect with them as a human, or you didn't deliver what was expected. So once you realize that almost every, which I would say every interaction that has any sort of negativity is because one of those three things failed. So if I'm in burnout, I'm probably not going to educate properly. I'm probably not going to connect the same way. And I'm probably not going to deliver what was expected. So you're setting yourself up to have pitfalls. You have to be careful.
Yeah. And I think what happens a lot of times with burnout is it becomes a vicious cycle. Like if you start, if the exhaustion, that will start affecting your mood. That will increase the cynicism. That reduces your ability to be capable and productive. And they all kind of just start spiraling. And it is really hard. And I also think a lot of times you're already deeply into this before you realize it's happening. Like these
by the time
things,
you realize it's going
insidious.
on, it's too late.
It's already happened and it's already in there. And then it's an awful lot of work to have to figure out, well, how do I turn this around? Like, how the heck do I get out of it? Some jobs you can get fired, like if you're not productive, if you're not capable.
Lots of jobs.
Yeah. So
lots of jobs
you can, on top of,
or laid off.
Yeah. On top of already feeling bad about yourself, it could lead to something like that. So it's like that moment of recognition where you acknowledge, wait, this is where I'm at. I am burned out. How do I get out of this? And the problem is most of the solutions for burnout are that you have to do some self-care.
Right. So what are some of the recommended how to overcome burnout? Since we sort of have an understanding now of what burnout is and what it looks like and how it manifests in our behavior or our body.
Good old Chat GPT recommends the following.
We're not sponsored by them.
We're not.
I don't think that's even a thing.
But I'm maybe we should be. But it's nothing. It's nothing groundbreaking that you probably couldn't use common sense to figure out. You need to refill your tank. So how do you refill your tank? Rest and sleep, getting good nutrition and movement, taking micro breaks, and unplugging. So limit your email notifications and work chatter outside of work. Micro breaks mean taking a step away from screens for a few minutes every hour, stretch, breathe. Nutrition and movement, you guys, that's the key to everything. They're going to tell you that every time on any kind of health
more water
or self-care thing. It's going to be hydrate, eat. It does. It says eat balanced meals and hydrate. Get light exercise like walking in. Rest and sleep. Prioritize deep rest. That's something I've really been focusing on the last month, is trying to get very good and productive, like where I am getting sleep that is actually sleep.
You know what's funny is Shelly has a napping chair here at the studio.
Yeah.
And I love it because she'll be working along and then all of a sudden she'll just bounce into the other room and she's off in the napping chair. I love it. I love that she has a napping chair. I'm not somebody who can nap.
Yeah.
I just can't. I need to be out for like 3 hours. But something you said about unplugging, when I was in the lower part of my depression, I was talking about about this with my client on Saturday, because I photographed one of 2 of twin newborns that were born very, very preemie. I had photographed the parents' wedding in Scotland a couple years ago, and these babies were born super, super tiny. One of them, Benji, has gotten out of the hospital, and I got to photograph him. So she and I were talking about how we've been going through, like, she was having a different kind of depression. And I said I was finding myself when I was really in the thick of it, like this last fall, I was turning my phone on airplane mode. And she was like, interesting. And I was like, I would go 2 days with my phone on airplane mode. And she was like, why do you think that is? And I realized I hadn't connected these dots. If I couldn't get messages, nobody could give me bad news.
Yeah.
Because I felt like everything around me was falling apart. Like, my marriage was great through the whole thing. Like, Jeff and I never had problems, but everything else around us seemed like it was crumbling. Like, all of these things, like hit after hit after hit after hit. It was like I couldn't go 3 days without bad news. And I didn't realize until I was telling Kimmy the other day, the reason I was on airplane mode is then nobody could tell me something had happened.
Yeah, you needed a break.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was doing that without even knowing it.
Yeah, it's like self-preservation. It is like the whole key to getting out of burnout mode is extreme self-care. It's like you have to take this time, and you can't feel like you're being selfish, and you can't feel like, oh, if I do that, like a lot of times on my weekends, if I have downtime, I'm using air quotes, if you're out there listening, I sometimes will just feel guilty if I have a weekend where there's nothing planned, like, oh, and my brain will immediately go through, you should be down sorting stuff in the garage. You should be unpacking. You should be going through all your clothes. Like, I have this constant list of things I should be doing that I haven't done, that maybe I've been putting off for a long time.
Stop shooting all over yourself.
Yeah. It's just like so much should be doing this, so much shoulding. And I'm like, it is absolutely, I have to say this out loud to myself. Sometimes I am sitting in the living room and I will out loud say to myself, it's okay for me to have downtime.
Yeah.
It is
You
okay.
need it, in fact. It's not just okay. Like, we don't sleep shame in our family. Like, I remember when Kyle and AJ lived with us, and like one of them would go take a nap and the other one was watching the kids. And then the person would get up from the nap and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, your body won't sleep if you don't need it.
Yeah.
We do not sleep shame. If you need to sleep, like if Jeff wants to sleep in till 1 p.m., let him. His body obviously needs it.
Yeah.
It's not something that it's like gluttonous
No.
to sleep. Like, our body literally needs it. So to have downtime, you need that. There's nothing to feel shameful about taking some time to rest.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
get real rest, get
Mhm.
restorative sleep. And a lot of times when I'm having anxiety in my life, the first thing that suffers is my sleep.
Mhm.
I get poor quality. I don't get restored. And I feel like I've had a few months, especially with going through selling a house, getting a house ready to sell, going through the process of selling, moving, boxing, moving into new places. That's stressful.
Sure.
That is an awful lot. They'll even put that on the top, 3 of, it's like marriage, divorce, death, and moving are like the top
Yep.
4 stressful events you can go through in life. So I feel like I've been that little hamster just going. And one of the things now that I'm coming down from it is I just find I want to sleep.
Mhm.
I just want to get some sleep. So I'm listening to that. And it's like I've reduced my work caseload. I've been going to, for at least a little while, I'm just doing part-time, and I'm trying to recharge my
Mhm.
batteries. And I'm recognizing I've been in extreme burnout, and it's not selfish to address it.
No.
And you
Quite the opposite.
you
You
should be
can't
doing
pour
it.
from an empty cup. So if you're worried that like people are going to need you, you can't be there for them if your cup is empty.
Yeah.
Like, if you're exhausted and burned out, how are you going to hold space or help anyone or be present for
Or do a
anyone?
good job. Like if you are saying, "Oh yeah, I can help you," are you? Are you really able to help someone? Do you actually have the time and bandwidth to do? Are you going to do a good job? Like, we're so used to saying yes and being there for other people, we forget you need to be there for yourself.
Mhm. And you've said before, saying yes to one thing is saying no to another.
Mhm.
So you got to be real careful what you say yes to, because that means that you're saying no to other things.
And what you might be saying no to is your own self-care.
Yep.
And you need to not, as women, we have been programmed through the centuries to feel guilty if we're not there to take care of everybody else. It's just the role that women have had, that we're the caring ones, we're the nurturers. We should never say no. If someone needs help or needs nurturing, we're supposed to be there. And who's there for us?
Yeah.
Who's nurturing us?
Yeah. It's,
Like,
and it falls, like, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're ticking all of the boxes of what we need. And if we're putting all of our energy into doing what other people want, like, you're going to suffer in massive ways. And you shouldn't say yes to something to please other people if it's not going to be fulfilling at all for you, unless that person is in great need of support. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And this next part from ChatGPT is talking
I didn't know you were going to
exactly
chat GPT all this. It's
about
hilarious.
why. Well, it's because it's relative and it is actually quite accurate.
No, I love it.
It says burnout thrives when you feel disconnected from your purpose or control. So it says reconnecting with meaning and mental reset are the second thing you do after taking care of those refilling your tank needs, which were the rest, the sleep, the nutrition, unplugging. The next thing you need to do is reevaluate your priorities and ask what really matters right now.
Right.
Say no more often. Protect your time. Yep.
Oh,
Protect your time and energy by setting clearer boundaries. Small wins. Start with manageable tasks to rebuild confidence and momentum, and support system. Talk with your friends, mentors, therapists. You don't have to carry this alone.
I love that.
So saying no is absolutely on there, and reevaluating your priorities, which that is something I've been doing lately, is what is most important to me? What are my core needs right now? Where do I want to put the time and energy that I am rebuilding? Where does that need to go?
It is not selfish to do self-care. That, I think, is the biggest misconception is, oh, well, that's super selfish if I say no to everybody because I'm, recharging my battery. Again, it's like you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're not recharging in any way, then you're not really fit to be around anyway, because you're going to bring everybody else down.
Yeah. And those
You're going
feelings
to
of,
disappoint people.
you're not going to get away from the feelings of being inadequate, of not doing a good job. It starts to make you feel like you have imposter syndrome, like you're getting away with stuff when it's going well, because you know you're not really doing well. You know you're not doing your best quality work. And so it's like you just feel like you're faking it. And you kind of are.
I think the biggest lie we tell is, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lie that we say is, I'm fine.
We don't like to say anything other than that because it makes other people uncomfortable.
Right.
When they ask you a pat question and they're expecting, they just do it out of, out of society, out of politeness. Oh, how are you doing? If you say anything other than fine, it makes the other person uncomfortable. If you say, well, things are not going well, I'm in heavy burnout, they're like, ooh,
I don't know what to do with that.
Why did I ask that question?
Well, it was funny because when Kimmy was here for the newborn shoot, like she and I we've been close over the last, 5 or 6 years, however long I've known her. And she's, we're talking about the births and like, oh, I had such a short pregnancy, because her due date is September 5th and they were born on June 10th.
Oh,
they
goodness.
were not even 3 pounds, super tiny little babies. So I was like, oh my God, I don't even know that I knew you were pregnant. She was like, well, to be fair, it was super short pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then after we got to talking about all of the things that had happened in her pregnancy, she was like, so how have you been? I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. And I was really real with her. And I talked about the hard things that I've been through over the last year. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, I should not have dumped all. She goes, no. I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you trust me with this kind of information. I didn't like sit and cry and like,
yeah, but you were honest.
But I was like, yeah, the last 12 months has not been super wonderful, but I'm coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming out of it. I think it's a symptom of menopause. It's not something I've ever dealt with. This thing that I'm doing with my best friend is like really helping bring me out of this. And she was like, oh yeah, I love the podcast. Like, she loves that I'm doing that. But instead of just saying like, oh yeah, I'm great. How have you been? Trusting people that they can handle it, as long as you're not there to manipulate or to try to, if it's self-serving and not just like, I'm going to give you an honest answer. I think that people welcome that.
Yeah.
Well,
I think people who truly care about you are going to be there for you when you have an answer that's not, well, I'm fine. And the people who don't really want to hear it probably aren't your people.
Yeah.
Then they were just asking out of politeness and they didn't give a shit what your answer was. And when it wasn't, I'm fine, they immediately tuned out. But I think this whole idea of burnout, it's something that is going to happen to everyone. It is in our just the way our society is, just the way we work in America, in the United States, the way our social lives are set up. They're really prone towards, we've been told our worth comes from being hard workers and putting in big hours. And now we're even told have second jobs and to make ends meet, So there's a lot of pressure on us to produce and to be workhorses. So that is immediately going to make burnout a much more common thing. We're all going to go through it probably several times in our life.
Yeah.
And one of the things it brought up in here about prevention, which I thought was an interesting one, the long-term prevention, how to change it, how to break the cycle of burnout.
Oh, I love this.
It says, adjust your workload. If possible, redistribute tasks, request help, or negotiate deadlines. Work environment check. If the culture or demands are chronically harmful, it may be time to rethink your role or workplace. Regular recharge rituals. Schedule weekly activities that restore you. Hobbies, nature, creative work, which is something
podcast
we did. And me doing Lego. That's something we do.
Or your quartet.
Or my quartet, my singing, my music. So some of these I've actually built in, and I've recognized for a long time that those are mental health boosters for me. So you might be naturally gravitating towards things that it might just be sitting and listening to music. It might be binge watching your favorite Schitt's Creek or whatever your show is. And the other one was mind and body habits practices like meditation, breathing exercises, or journaling. And
Do lots of deep breaths.
yeah, I do journaling sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to write things out. So these are all just, none of these are groundbreaking. None of them are things you probably didn't just naturally think, maybe I should just take a moment.
But
And
sometimes hearing it all
breathe.
together
Yeah.
in one place is like, oh my gosh, I have been neglecting this. I've been doing ABC, but I forgot about, DEF kind of thing.
Right.
So,
And also recognizing that there are times when we are not at our best,
mhm.
when we are not producing our best work, we are not at our most lovable and engaging, we're not at the top of our game, we aren't the best at what we do in some moments. That is normal. And we don't give ourselves that space. We
Mhm.
don't give ourselves space to underachieve or to not be at our peak performance
Or productive.
or productive. We constantly think if we're not at our peak and if we're not giving our best, we are somehow inadequate and we're failing.
Yeah.
And that is not good. It's not healthy. It puts so much expectations on ourselves. This is why people get depression. This is why people get crippling anxiety. This is why people get suicidal, is
Mhm.
because they feel that they're constantly behind. They're not
They
doing
can't
what
get
they
out
should
of
be
it.
doing,
They feel stuck.
and
in
they
that.
feel stuck in a loop. And we've got to normalize that going through times of burnout are part of the human condition in the
Mhm.
current world we live in.
Totally. And something that, I don't turn my phone on airplane mode anymore because I've come out of the valley of my mental health over the last year. But something that I do now is I have most notification settings turned off.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever app or platform somebody's trying to get a hold of me, it's not going to like send me like, hey, so and so messaged you on Messenger or sent you a text
You
message
have to go
or
check them
did a Facebook
actively.
or did a TikTok or did an Instagram. It's not sending me these constant like, hey, 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 hey things. I have to open whatever app it is. So I'm still, and it's hard to make people understand that you're not going to be super responsive
Instantly available.
because like I noticed that Bethany had texted me like a week ago, like, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? And I didn't see it for like 4 days. And then I went into like, oh no, Bethany's going to think I'm mad at her because that,
Mm-hmm.
rejection sensitivity disorder. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course, I just saw this. Love you so much. Like, just let me
Yeah.
know when kind of thing. But it's not like I silenced Bethany. I just made it so that things don't come through constantly
You don't
for
have to,
me.
just because we can be at everybody's beck and call because of modern technology does not mean you have to be.
Right.
The unplugging and taking a moment and not, I lived in a time before cell phones.
What?
I know. I
Same.
lived in a time before texting and all this stuff. And people used to not be able to have instantaneous ability to connect with you.
And people kind of freak out if you don't answer right away.
Yeah.
I've noticed
I get that
be-
question mark, question mark, question mark. Like if you don't answer a text within 30 seconds, it's
Yeah.
like, give me a fucking moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Give me a
let me
second.
get off the toilet and
Yeah.
look at this when I'm not peeing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is okay to regulate how available you are. And when you are in burnout, you can be less available. That is
Right.
okay.
And I turn my phone on to do not disturb now
Mhm.
often just to like, I don't need everybody coming at me all the time, like needing my attention. And like each one of them is individually not requiring a lot from me. But when you get that all at
At one time,
once,
it
it
feels like
can be
overwhelmed.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I know that when I was on airplane mode this last fall, it was on for a few days. And my friends Kevin and Kat were trying to get a hold of me just to check in, like, how you doing? How's everything going? And when I turned it off of airplane mode, it had been like, I feel like it was like 4 or 5 days that it was on airplane. I saw all of these messages come up and Kevin was like, yo, Witten, like, what's going on? And I messaged both of them back and Kat was like, good God, woman, I was about to reach out to your husband.
Yeah.
Like, what is, and she lives in North Carolina. Like,
Yeah.
she's met Jeff once, but she was ready to like find him on something and be like, is Angie okay? Whereas in actuality, I was just like airplane moding because life was being too lifey. I was on no mode.
We live in a world and a society now where that is the expectation. We have made it the expectation that you be instantly available, that if you get a text, you're answering it immediately or within at least no less than an hour of when you get the text. If not 5 minutes, some people's expectation that you drop everything and you text them right in that moment. And it is up to you to decide how available you are. And then you just let people know.
Yep.
You just say, you know what? I'm not as instantly available as I have been in the past. I check my messages at the end of the day. And if it's a priority, I get back to people, but I am not instantly going to be responding to everybody all the time. I'm taking a break. It's okay to say that. It's okay to have that boundary. A lot of people have done that because they found that working in that world of being constantly available, they can't do their jobs.
Right.
They can't have their life be, in quotes, normal because they're constantly interrupted. They're off on rabbit, chases, because anytime somebody gets a hold of you, there's a new set of things you have to do now.
Yep.
So if you want to stay
be real careful, like you only get so many hours in a day, like you got to hold that time sacred and make sure that you're filling your own cup before. It's like put your own mask on before the other people on an airplane. Like you have to get oxygen for yourself before you can help anyone.
Yeah. And it's things like I'm really trying to walk the walk on this. And it's interesting because people have reached out and they've been like, you haven't been posting as much on Facebook.
Yep.
You haven't been doing this as much and that as much. And I'm like, that's all been purposeful. Like
That's by design.
I'm doing that by design, and it has a reason. And if you really need me, call me or text me and I will get back with you, but I'm not as available as I have been in the past.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay to do that.
Exactly.
So it's okay for you to do that. If you need to take a moment, it is okay to set boundaries and to let people know that you're in a place in your life right in this moment where you're just not as available. You can just be like, I'm in self-care mode. I am getting my life in order. And, I'll let you know when I'm more available.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
Exactly. No apologies needed.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly, as per usual. Well, Shelly, this is a really in-depth topic that, again, I feel like we could have multiple episodes on it.
We know ChatGPT is here. If we need to go more in depth, it'll let us. But
so if you guys have ideas for other topics, we would love to hear what you'd like for us to speak about. There are all sorts of ways to reach out to us. We have a link in our bio. There's a link tree that has all sorts of ways.
We might be on airplane mode.
We might,
and it might take us a while to get back, but we will.
I do check everything like often enough. I would say probably the most direct way to get a hold of us is hotflashchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. So if you have a question or an idea, that would be a lovely way to get a hold of us. And as we always do, we're going to do a couple rapid fire questions.
Ooh.
Are you ready for it?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to start this.
Hey.
Okay.
Super excited.
So what is your favorite, speaking of like downtime, what is your favorite form of art to do? Like, would you rather paint or knit or sculpt or things like that?
And I like all of those things. It kind of depends on, I really will get a desire to do something in particular when I want the downtime. Like, I'll be like, I want to do some Lego. Like, it'll just hit me, or it'll be, I'm going to get my I have a crate full of drawing stuff. Like I have pads and paper and pens and ink and paint. So I'll definitely feel a vibe. But I'd say a go-to for me is always Lego, in that I like doing the knolling. It calms me down just to go through and sort, put things in piles and get that ready. So Lego's a pretty good go-to because there's not a lot of thinking involved in that, but it gives me patterning and something to put my mind on.
I love that.
So Lego.
Okay.
Lego would be the go-to. Let's do a creative outlet one for you. Angie, do you like art where you are more on the viewer side where you are taking it in, like say visiting a museum, or would you rather be someone who is putting your hands on it and touching it and feeling it and creating it?
The second one. I like to be, I'm a very hands-on person. So I feel like doing the painting. I like museums and I like art galleries and stuff, but I love to be more interactive. That's something that really feeds me. So I would say I'm more of an active participant than an appreciator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Food. Oh gosh.
We always do a food one.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Do you prefer cake, pie, or tarts?
Oh my. Well, I prefer all of them.
Yeah. If you had to pick one.
I'm going to go for a pie. That's the first one that always leaps out at me. And it's because I really like a good crust. Like I am so into, if that crust is done right, if it's flaky and it's delicious, then you can't go wrong with a good pie.
Do you know what's interesting is for me, the crust, I love like a top and a bottom kind of crust, but the little edge, like the thick, I don't like that at all.
Oh,
like I'll leave that on the plate. I don't like that part. I don't like the little band that goes around the top.
Thicker.
I love the top crust and the bottom crust, but I don't want the little band.
Yeah. Interesting. Love that. Okay. So let's see here. Angie, since you're talking about tarts, is your preference towards a sweet, gooey, ooey gooey tart or like a savory, more of a savory one?
I would say for tarts specifically, probably a sweet one. I can't really think of any savory tarts off the top of my head. So maybe that's why I'm not like doing an apples to apples thing.
I know like in England, a lot of the things that are considered tarts will have more of a savory element. Like they'll put the rosemary, the basil, they'll do some flavors like that in with them. Instead of just like the straight on sweet like we're used to.
Yeah, I would still say sweet probably. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us. If you have time, we would love if you would like, comment, share it with your favorite humans, however you choose to engage. Subscribe wherever you're listening, and it would mean everything if you could give us a review. And we thank you so much for listening. And until next time, we bid you adieu. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. That's a wrap on this episode. If you laughed, related, or just need more, hit subscribe.
Check out the show notes to find us on socials and YouTube, and join our Patreon for exclusive extras.
And remember,
we're still hot, just in flashes.